Ba-da-da-ba-ba-da, ow, ba-bow, chow, wah, wow, wah, yeah. Sit. Come here. Come here. Down. Show me your tummy. Show me your tummy. Ian, down. Show me your tummy. Good girl, go get it. You know, I looked at myself in the camera setup and I said, something looks different. And I realized I'm not wearing a hat, and I'm almost always wearing my Crypto.com hat. But you caught me in an especially lazy feeling today, and I just don't feel like getting up to get it for this video. So, enjoy my little fake mohawk. This video could be really, really long, or it could be really, really short, because there's a lot to go over, and I haven't planned anything out. To be honest with you, I'm just going to spit fire just from the hip. And it depends on how much detail I go into for the video. Still not getting too much feedback on the videos, so blame yourselves if I'm not productively entertaining you. I guess just don't watch, or let me know if you need something else from me. But basically, you know, there's several smaller projects I could get into, and I'll briefly mention, you know, the Hivemapper I want to talk about. The Load Alliance looks like they're on the road to progress. Crypto.com in general, some of the, but then it all plays into the bigger macro picture. You know, I've of course been concerned about the bank runs lately, and being involved nose deep into the news all the time. You know, I feel like I'm probably like 2 weeks ahead of most of my friends, where they start news starts to trickle down into like mainstream traditional avenues. You know, where they start saying, "Hey, is there some sort of a problem with the banks, or did you hear about this, or whatever?" And it's like, yeah, that was forever ago, right? And it's still an issue, but it's just it's interesting. I think the real world is still sort of asleep on the problems with the financial sectors and how big they are and how serious it is, like the actual the systemic nature of how messed up everything is. I think the general person has really no clue yet. And being like a Bitcoiner or crypto enthusiast, you know, you still, there's a whole lot of labeling of people just kind of think you're a crackpot, and they'll still say like, oh, you know, they'll laugh at you, and maybe rightfully so, because, you know, yeah, the markets are down, all the markets are down, but, you know, especially crypto because it's volatile, and they'll say like, oh, hey, how'd that crypto thing work out for you? I mean, and they're right, you know, I haven't been able to quit my day job yet, so there's that. But and you know, and I think I've said this before, you can be 100% accurate about what is going to happen, but if you're wrong about the timing, you're still effectively wrong. And that can be a very painful lesson to learn. So, you know, it looks like, just mathematically, just the numbers are the numbers. You know, there's certain things that just you can't change, and it seems to be playing out. It seems to be going in that direction. You know, the timing is nobody knows. Everyone's guessing. But our system, if you don't understand it, it's just broken. And there's a whole lot of kicking the can down the road that can happen, and a whole lot of delaying the inevitable. Um, Surprising amount of that. But at some point, you know, it's like the Wile E. Coyote. You know, sooner or later, you have to look down and realize you're in the middle of the air, and then gravity's going to take over. It just, I guess, it depends on the animators on how long that actually happens. But, you know, when the traditional, you know, financial system that we know fails, you know, what are the alternatives? Bitcoin. That's why I'm here. You know, I think that's really the only safe play. Again, people are still probably going to laugh at me, or, you know, if you're watching this video, you're probably not going to, but, you know, if you're my dad, you probably are. So, but anyways, enough of a rant. Yeah, I mean, there's things happening that seem, that are criminal. It's just criminal. Like, you know, banks being taken over that have no business being taken over just because they're crypto. There's something called Operation Choke Point 2.0 that's being bantered about. It's a real thing. This is it. The government is cracking down on crypto. They don't want any on ramps or off ramps into crypto. They're finally, for a long time it was this like conspiracy theory, like, hey, crypto's a threat to the traditional financial system. Obviously, it's Big Brother's going to want to take it out, right? And there's this back and forth about, oh no, well, they're going to want their piece of the pie too. They want, it's going to make the government, it's going to make money for a large taxable base, blah 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 blah. Well, no, the U.S. dollar hegemon is way more attractive, obviously, for bad actors. It's all an incentives game, and right now it just looks like everyone is more incentivized to cling onto the dollar, and it probably just has to do with the Cantillon effect, where they're close to the money printer, and that means they get a lot of the power, a lot of the money, and they want to hold on to that. Nobody's the closest to the Bitcoin. There is no Bitcoin printer. That's the thing. You can't just make Bitcoin out of thin air. You have to do useful proof of work. Anyway, I'm rambling. But I'm probably not going to go into too deep of detail after this ramble, where I haven't even gone anywhere yet. Anyways, so I'll talk about Hivemapper real quick. I've been using it for a couple of weeks. I like it. Again, it is very very similar in structure to like what the growth of the Helium network looked like. The only like variable that I see with the token is that Helium, the network, was always like, oh, people will burn Helium to get the data credits to use the network. And even if that like never really happened, there was that whole fiasco about this $1 billion network that only made like $6,000 of revenue, which was, whatever. Even if that never happened, it was like that was the use case. Like there was a reason to believe that the Helium token would appreciate in value because it was going to be useful. I don't see that with Hivemapper. Hivemapper, the token itself, is going to be used for gaining access to the mapping, but it's not being sold yet. It's and to be honest with you, I don't see it doing. I don't see it going anywhere where like people are going to demand the honey token. That's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own due diligence. And another thing I'll add is that the payout structure is every week. I don't know why it's done this way. I know there's a review process. Things need to be manually checked, which seems inefficient. I don't know, hook ChatGPT up to it or something. But so every Wednesday there's a payout to all the mappers to your wallet for the honey token. And I just again, I'm not a technical analysis expert, but basically every Wednesday there's just this giant selling pressure where the token dumps, because it's like, again, there's no use for the token. Everyone wants to just sell out and recoup their costs, right? So every Wednesday you have literally every mapper on the network selling all of their tokens. And even if there's no sell pressure any other day, the algorithm is going to just see a weekly dump, and anything else that trades this is just going to keep trading it down. I don't see any token appreciation happening organically. There may, if this bull market kind of bounce that we're seeing right now continues to play out, there might be a little bit of like a Bitcoin dragging it up with it. I don't think it will go up as much as Bitcoin. I don't think. Again, I could be entirely wrong. I would love to be wrong, because then I would be getting more. But you know, with that being said, another issue I have with the project is that the developers keep saying, "Oh, don't pay attention to how much you're gonna get out of the project. You just drive like normal. This is not to make money. This is to make a network, a map, and blah 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 blah." And it's a very like, feel good. Like it's not living in the real world though. Um, Realistically, money is very important to people. You can't just brush people's questions and concerns off by saying, just drive normally. Don't worry about the rewards. Well, if nobody was worried about the rewards, nobody would buy a $600 camera. You could buy a much cheaper, much more efficient, much better, just in every way, a dash cam that's much just insane. Like nobody is going to buy a $600 dash cam, and then on top of that, all of the connectivity issues, the hurdles you have to go through, connecting wallets, connecting to the camera, all of the wireless networks, all of the hiccups in the firmware. Again, I realize it's a new project, and there's going to be a lot of growing pains, and I experienced many along the way, which I'm looking at a 10-minute time right now. I'm not going to go into all of them, but the project's had a lot of growing pains, and again, I understand that. But people put up with that stuff because they want to make money. So that's another thing that kind of irked me about the project is there's this whole hand wavy motion where they're like, contribute to our network, but don't worry about how much you're going to make. Don't worry about breaking even. It's a very like, it feels like a real brush off move. And I think just living in the real world, realistically, people are going to be worried about recouping their investments. Which I think at this stage is very possible in a relatively good time frame. Actually, I've actually come close to recouping my cost of investment, and I've been mapping for, I want to say, 4 or 5 weeks now. So I think there's still time to do that. Depending on, there are a lot of variables, but if I were evaluating my desirability to get involved with a project that would give me more faith, I guess, in how if the developers actually cared about the community. If I were evaluating it off of that, I would not be very excited about getting involved in Hivemapper, and that might be carryover from Helium's attitude. I don't know. I don't know how tied up they are. They seem very, very intertwined with Helium, and I don't know if that's like there's more even below the surface there or not. And to be honest with you, I haven't totally given up on Helium. I'm actually still like holding out a sliver of hope on Helium. They have been pushing back their Solana migration. Originally, it was supposed to happen on the 27th of March, and now I think it's the 18th of April, and that's fine. I mean, push things. I've said it before, and I'll say it again on like any project. Like, I'm fine with a pushback and a delay if that's the time that's needed to make sure something's done right. And take the time. I know people get antsy, but I would much rather deal with a successful rollout than just something too early that needs to be rolled back, and there's a whole bunch of drama around it just because you didn't take the time to do things right. And I know in crypto sometimes you move fast and break things, but that's just not like my preference, to be honest with you. Maybe that's why like I still kind of lean towards Bitcoin more as my like I'm a Bitcoiner at heart. I dabble with the altcoins because I feel like the ROI can come quicker so that you can get more Bitcoin. But like my fundamental feeling on things is like I'm a Bitcoiner. So I'm still rambling, but I've somehow successfully managed to portray my thoughts on some of the relative news on Hivemapper and Helium. And so Loaded Lines, last but not least, is something I wanted to touch on. Their main net game seems to be right around the corner. They're releasing little updates here and there about what the game is going to look like. Again, I think I said before, I'm not terribly excited about the game. I just don't think it's going to be like fun to play, and I don't think it's going to be I don't think it's going to be fun to play, and I don't think it's going to be as rewarding to play, like, monetarily, as some people are hoping for. But we'll see. So prove me wrong, Loaded Lines, because you've really crept the bed on a lot of launches so far, which is a shame because I think the Loaded Lines community is actually one of the stronger communities out there. So shout out if you're a fellow lion. Other than that, yeah, I'm at the 15-minute mark. This is bordering on one of my longer videos. Maybe I'll make another video here somewhere later where I delve deeper into the conspiracy theory that is the choke point 2.0. Honestly, I shouldn't be the source of any of your news. So if you're interested in like the calamity that is happening and like the absolute like criminal, like just corruption that is happening, look into it. It's like it's not a secret, which is like the total disgusting thing is it's to the point where like you do something so obvious in plain view and it nothing's ever going to come of it. It's just we're just going to get I think we're going to get done dirty. Yeah, look into it. Operation Choke Point 2.0.